That's all.
Hope that you enjoyed that incredible experience of meditation and managed to get some spaciousness we talked about. I'm delighted to welcome to the stage Heartfulness President and Global Guide, Sri Kamlesh D. Patel, and also Dr. Maharaj, Dr. Tony Nada. In March this year, Mahotsav, which means Great Festival at Kanha, and there was a world first where Heartfulness brought together different interfaith leaders, spiritual leaders from various spiritual traditions. It had never happened before. And the whole objective of the Mahotsav was to create global peace through inner peace. Dr. Nada played an incredible part of this. I'd like to just tell you a little bit about him, and then we will also talk a little bit more about Daji. Dr. Nada is here with his wife, Vilya, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, hello, lovely to meet you. And also Nigel Khan and Charles Cunningham. Thank you for being with us today. Dr. Nada is a medical doctor and a neuroscientist. He trained at Harvard University and MIT, where he gained his PhD, so he's quite smart. He's recognized globally as a leading expert in the science of evolution, and he is the successor to Maharishi Mahesh Yogi and head of the Transcendental. Dr. Nada is also chairman of the Global Union of Scientists for Peace, an organization leading scientists and world leaders dedicated to the cause of peace. There's so much more I could say about him. We're just delighted to have you with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Before we start the fireside chat with beloved Daji and with Maharaj, Dr. Tony Nader, you've all heard about heartfulness today, especially all the new speakers here. You've seen about Kane Shantivanam as well. We want you to see a short video about Daji because we haven't really spoken much about him today. And as the president of the Heartfulness Institute and as the global ambassador of peace, we'd like for you to know a little bit more about him before we start the fireside chat. I'm going to just play a short video, and we'll start the fireside chat right after that.
Kamlesh Patel, affectionately his guide, is leading a worldwide movement to make free meditation training available to all. Of 16,000 volunteer trainers and over 10 million practitioners in 160 countries, Daji has transformed many lives. In his books and talks, he shares deep insights into successfully integrating one's spiritual and material life. Daji is also guiding volunteers to conduct research and guiding volunteers to conduct research and guiding volunteers to conduct research and
ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਰਾਮਚੰਦਰ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਨ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਬੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਗੈਪ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ। ਫਿਰ ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਆਏ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ 10 ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਰਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਦਲੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ।
ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੱਜਣ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਏ, ਆਪਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਜੀ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਏ। ਯੂਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਕੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ, ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੈਨਾਂ ਚਲਾਉਣ 'ਚ, DPD ਵੈਨਾਂ, ਹਰਮੀਜ਼ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਵੈਨਾਂ।
ਤੂੰ ਮਿਹਰ ਦਾ ਬਰਸੇ ਮੇਘ ਬਾਬਾ, ਜਿੰਨਾ ਥਾਵਾਂ ਤੇ ਪਾਏ ਪੈਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ।
ਤੈਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ? ਕਿਉਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਜਲੂਸ ਕਢਾ ਰਿਹਾ? ਇੱਥੇ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਝੋਨਾ ਬੀਜਿਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਪੈਨ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਗਿਆ? ਪਾਗਲ। ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ? ਤੂੰ ਪਤਾਸੇ ਲੈਣੇ। ਹੁਣ ਦੱਸ।
ਸੱਚਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ।
ਆ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਨਾ 36 ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਆਈਆਂ ਸਕੂਲ 'ਚ। ਜੁੱਤੀ ਦੇਖੀ ਆ ਮੇਰੀ?
ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦੀ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਨਾਲੇ ਸਾਟੀ ਹੱਥ ਲੱਗੂਗੀ।
Hi, I'm Harjot Gabri and I'm an angel oracle card reader and a crystal Reiki master. Are you feeling blocked, feeling stuck in your life, in your relationships, in your career, in your business? Do you want guidance? Do you want clarity? Come, join me on Soul Reading and Mindfulness on MATV.
No drama, no exaggeration. Just the truth, a complete news bulletin. MATV brings you Doordarshan News at 7 a.m. 11:30 a.m., 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. News the way it should be.
जामवंत के बचन सुहाए, सुने हनुमंत हृदय अति भाए। तब लगी मोहि पर खेहु तुम भाई, सही दुख कंद मूल फल सियावर रामचंद्र पद जय शरण। जय जय सिया राम शंकर हरि ओम।
क्या बोलते हैं तारे। मैं ज्योतिषाचार्य संजय आप सभी के लिए लेकर आ रहा हूँ क्या बोलते हैं तारे। क्या आपको लगता है कि आपके काम बनते बनते बिगड़ गए? क्या आपको लगता है कि आपके जीवन में रुकावटें आ रही हैं? क्या आपको लगता है कि आपकी शादी होते होते रुक गई? हर समस्या का एक समाधान जरूर होता है। कभी कोई ग्रह, कोई नक्षत्र या कोई खराब योग आपको परेशान करता है तो आप मुझसे संपर्क कीजिए।
Later on, the idea came across that why not unite many spiritual organizations. Let's work together for peace. We can fight all we want with differences of opinions, philosophical idealisms. Let's find a common cause why we all exist. Why each philosophical system was developed in the first place. The main cause, peace and harmony, happiness. If we cannot, as individual organization, nurture to our satsangis, who else will? Who else can? It is our esteemed responsibility, it's a privilege. And if we don't come together, then God help us. We can never be like a drop in the ocean. We will never be able to have yoga as defined as Jet yoga. Forget about the union with the ultimate. Since you are not able to have union with your brothers and sisters, it will be denied. And especially, if an ordinary person commits a crime, there should be a certain level of punishment. But if the Prime Minister or the Supreme Court judges commits the murderous acts, then you should set aside a special punishment for them. They deserve a greater punishment than a common person. Why am I saying this? So-called religious leaders and so-called spiritual leaders, instead of becoming udyogis and business people, come and unite. If you keep dividing, it is the biggest sin you will be perpetuating on this planet, and karmas are inexorable. Whatsoever you do, it will boomerang. So especially the spiritual leaders has to be more careful. Must make sure that the satsangis are not polarized against each other. I now request Sri Daji to share his wise words.
Namaste, Pranam. Shri Daji, it's a great honor to be with you and all this august assembly, and to have the opportunity again to thank you for your big heart. Heartfulness is a theme, inner peace and outer peace we have experienced and lived together under your blessing in the great Ganashanti Vanam. and all our 11,000 people who have come from 139 countries felt the big heart that you have and that all your staff and support system have expressed and shown us. Today, it is very important to highlight the unity of life, as Daji beautifully highlights and calls upon all leaders of the world to understand, and that from a scientific perspective, not just a belief level. I have grown in the Middle East. I was born in Lebanon, wanted to understand life with great hopes, and suddenly a civil war emerged between different factions that believe in different things on the surface, that feel they belong to different maybe ethnicities, and that exploded into a catastrophic war. In my medical training, I had to face in the emergency room and the hospital something we can't even describe. It's much more than what you see in movies during war conditions and situations, day after day. And one wonders what makes the humans go in that direction? What makes us think of the differences and forget the unity value? At the same time, I learned transcendental meditation, and it gave me strength and power to be established in the self, in my own consciousness, my own being, and to face all these unbelievably challenging situations on the surface value. But questions remained of why people do that and what can we do about it. And today in our world, the same question is actually being asked on a more global level. And basically, simply what is needed is for the tree to realize it's one tree and it's nourished by the same roots, even though their flowers can be different, the branches have different qualities, the trunk is more hard, the petals are more soft, the fruits have their own quality, yet it's one tree. Our body is one body. We have a heart that pumps blood, that is part of it that's oxygenated, part of it is not oxygenated. We have parts that digest things, we have parts that collect things and store them, and all of these parts work together as wholeness. Because of the sense of unity, we are one individual. The right hand doesn't fight with the left hand. The feet that walk are not angry with the hands that grab things and do things. And like this, our world is actually one reality. And when we see it from the surface value of different ethnicities, different qualities of life, and focus on those surface values, we forget the wholeness that underlies that totality. And we start fighting on the surface level. But this is just intellectual thinking, and we all know it, and we can discuss it, and there are many people who proclaim it on the surface level. What is missing is to know it on the deep level of our being. And that is what meditation brings. And it brings that not only on the mind level, on the intellectual level, on the thinking level, analytical level, but on the level of direct experience. When we go beyond the surface levels of our layers of existence, there are the koshas, the different layers that make us physical, mental, intellectual, and then we reach that there is something deeper that we transcend, that allows us to transcend to that value of pure being, pure consciousness, which is what we really truly are, then inherently we realize that we are the sap that nourishes the tree. We are not just one aspect. We are that wholeness that allows all diversity to grow and prosper and be successful on its own level, yet we are that one reality. And that is the beautiful thing I see in the ancient traditions, such as the Vedic tradition, where it is said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is my family. And what this means is not just humans are my family, but also the rivers, the trees, the animals, the environment. All of this is myself. When you say my family, it means it's yourself. And when you have that self-value well established in you on a broad level, rather than a narrow understanding of my little self that is hiding in my skin, in this body, but it includes my friends, it includes my family, it includes my community, it includes my country, it includes my world. Then you see that together we are like these different aspects of our physiology. The heart, the river, the hand, the feet, they do different things. And that is what makes us able to do so much. And so those diversity values are not to be eliminated. They are to be highlighted and strengthened, but not become the reference for fear of the other, for anxiety about protecting myself because the other might take something from me. And what all of this unifying value is, truly. Unifying value can be expressed in many levels, and the highest, most beautiful level that expresses the unifying power of life is love, is the term love. And that is where we honor and praise the heartfulness movement, Daji's mission, to unify. The heart is what puts together what the intellect discriminates. Both values are important. You have to be clear where you're going, you have to find your way, you have to know this way is not right, this way is right. The intellect is needed. But when you see that all paths lead to ultimately the one absolute reality of the being, of the self, wholeness, and the meaning of life, then you are not afraid that somebody can take a different path and you can take a different path. You still love them because they are fulfilling something. You are fulfilling something. The liver is digesting or storing. The digestive tract is breaking down the components. They seem to be doing two different things, yet they love each other because they are one, the sense of oneness. So where is that ultimate oneness? That ultimate oneness is in consciousness, in awareness. That is where everything gets unified. And more today, science is discovering and highlighting the importance of consciousness, and that consciousness is primary. And this is where meditation techniques, I'm most familiar with the transcendental meditation technique that has been proven through thousands of scientific research, studies, and analysis to really lead to that improvement on the physical outer level, so better performance, greater creativity, improved behavior, and even improved social situation, where a few people practicing meditation together, as we have done in Kanashanti, together from 139 countries, create an effect. And we are studying these effects on society. And there have been hundreds of scientific research studies showing that it can lead to reduction in crime, reduction in accidents on the road, reduction in hospital admissions. So consciousness and meditation, even though it draws us inward, it has a very powerful effect on all outer aspects. It's like watering the roots of the tree, nourishing the sap, and then all aspects of the tree are nourished. And we have had this experience in a wonderful way at Kamashanti. It was a real joy to meet and be with all those who are working there, and then again, under Daji's guidance, the Mahotsav that collected all the spiritual leaders and looking for the important contribution from the East, from India, from the Vedic tradition, to make sure the world understands that the dimension of consciousness, the dimension of spirituality, is what will save our world. Being on the level of only physicality and materiality is going to lead to decision making that is based on surface values, forgetting the roots of life, forgetting the source of the rivers of life. So if you forget the source, the river will dry, and the source is consciousness, is awareness, is pure being. And that is the glue, that is the supreme heartfulness, the supreme heart that unifies everything. And it's a joy to be with all of you and to pay our homage and honor to Sri Daji and all of those organizing this event and all events, so that we can raise consciousness about the importance of spirituality in a true sense, not necessarily religion, although religion can be very spiritual, but spirituality in a scientific way. And today, science has enough knowledge, enough study and expertise that it can show us that actually consciousness, which is pure spirituality, is primary, and that matter emerges from that field. I have been guided by my teacher, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, to pursue this knowledge, and I have written a book that is called Consciousness is All There Is, which describes how truly Advaita Vedanta, truly supreme spirituality, is the essence of existence, and it's a very practical aspect that can make life better on the surface level, on the physical level, on the material level, as well as maintain that supreme unity so that diversity can flourish, but on the grounds of pure unity, and make our world a heavenly place, as is called in the Vedic tradition, Ramraj, the kingdom of wholeness, of fullness, of totality, where everyone lives in peace with each other, independent of their traditions, belief systems, walks of life. And that is full unification, which is full heartfulness, and it's a great joy to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. We do have a few questions for Daji from the audience. If it's okay, Daji, could we just read those questions to you and you could answer them? we'll take we'll take only 4 or 5 of them, we promise. Okay. All right. So we have one question that said, we all know what is heartfulness, but why an emphasis on the heart? And how does it empower humanity? Because that's the topic, empowering humanity through meditation. How does it empower humanity, and why the emphasis on heart?
Why not? When you fall in love with someone, Isn't it the most beautiful thing? And who inspired you to fall in love? Your brain? Your heart? Whenever we describe an individual, we say it's such a lovely person, has a good heart, soft heart. Oh, he is such an arrogant bee, we say, right? His heart is like a stone, cruel-hearted, divine heart, motherly heart. So the quality of an individual is ascribed by the heart, very rarely to the mind. The great research is done by Heart Math Solution also says, even before the mind perceives, heart perceives it before. It has a greater electromagnetic field than the brain itself. It has its own nervous system. What I'd like to bring to your attention, since Sri Tony Nader was mentioning on consciousness. What is consciousness, after all? Simply put, it is degree of awareness, and to that extent, degree of unawareness, plus ability to respond appropriately. This is my latest understanding. Because through my consciousness, I can perceive things perhaps. For example, maybe my wife is having a headache. I'm able to perceive it even when she doesn't speak at all. Is it enough? How should I respond when I know someone is sick? Someone is in need. How should I respond? That is consciousness. Not only to perceive, but to appropriately respond. You, husband and wife, fighting like hell in your bedroom, and suddenly your 3-year-old comes with a pacifier, mommy, 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 walks in as if nothing is happening. Would you still continue to fight and you'll have to withdraw abruptly and say, oh, honey, settle down. That is consciousness, the ability to respond properly. Now, how does this consciousness play out? It is somehow affected by our thinking apparatus, we call manas. Also by our intellect, and also by ego. These three things mainly affect our consciousness. When consciousness evolves, what becomes of these three? The mind, for example. What happens to my thinking apparatus? I must shift as I evolve, or it just happens that thinking results in feeling, perceiving. So a evolved person does not think the way the other evolved person, less evolved person would. They feel it. And I have noticed this in my business days when I was running my pharmacy business in New York City. Often you would have so many problems, government related, so many other things anyway. But when you are morose and thinking about the problems for days together, your wife, your mother, sisters, they are, what's wrong with you? And after 2 months of getting through that hell, you ascribe the problem and say, oh, you start talking, and your mother comes up with a solution before you even finish the problem. It makes you wonder how in the world she did it. We as men are cerebral. Women feel from the heart and respond. So on an evolutionary scale, women are far advanced, but unfortunately they're claiming equal rights. Why do you want to lower yourself? I really mean it from all my heart. You have the greatest ability to perceive, to feel before a person can finish a sentence. Just by looking at a face, you know whether this person is, what happens in their face. Someone looking at you all the time, and you feel like slapping that person. Someone just looks at you and puts his head down, or the next door passenger is doing this to you. You feel as if your whole body shrinks. Man, if the lady is looking at him constantly, what happens? It will be exactly opposite reactions. If someone is touching him, he'll say, that is consciousness. How each one responds it depends upon their evolution. This is the practical application of why one should evolve at a consciousness level. First, how to channelize my thinking and how to respond with my heart. Mindfulness is great. You have to integrate it with heartfulness. Otherwise, it will remain a mental territory, perceiving all the time my breath. You get headache sometimes. Watching breath all the time, my right nostril, my left nostril, and sometimes you forget to breathe also. And what happens to your awareness? So heart is all about responses, and when we listen, if the intent is going to be from here, then you'll be also struggling to respond from here. You're struggling to respond while listening. Don't do that. Listen completely from your heart. Resonate with the person. In Hindi we say bhav, abhav and prabhav. When someone approaches you with bhav, you perceive that. Bhav means with affection. Someone approaches you with affection, with love. How should my response be? Affection and love. When someone approaches you with abhav, maybe some level of deficit, some health deficit, how should I respond? Fulfill that deficit. Meaning help that person. And someone approaches you with prabhav because they are so impressed, be grateful to God. So these are a few, I would say, signals of evolving heart, how we respond. And this response is always from the heart. Often people ask me, Kamlesh Bhai or Daji, why do you recommend meditating on the heart? So would you try to feel something with your feet? Of course you can feel something with your feet when there is a thorn or something, the physical object. Can you feel something with your liver or kidney? You can see things with your eyes, but heart is the only instrument to which one transcends all senses. Number one. Number two, when we refer to Holy Scriptures, be it Bible or Gita, there's so much of great praise on heart, the value of the heart. All the temple lovers, I do like temples. You can go there and worship, but don't think God exists there only. This morning one counselor met me and she says, I'm writing a book, Seek Within. But she was emphasizing, is it not in the church? I said, why are you reading this book? That indwelling entity is in your heart, nowhere else. In Vedas and Upanishads, of which we are so proud of, not even once there is a mention of temple. Try to read it. You may not know Sanskrit. Refer to the English translation and search the word temple. Not even once. But more than 180 times there is a mention of Hridayam, the heart. Gita talks about a similar thing. Lord Krishna says, when Arjuna asked him the fundamental question, Lord, you have shown me this Vishwarup, how in the world the posterity will know you? Lord Krishna says, Hridayam Pashyasi. Look myself in your heart. And where are we looking for them today? Outside. When the direction is wrong, how in the world will you perceive the presence of the Lord? We bow before entities outside, to the objects, not the subject. Subject is within, Atman is within. Again, I had to explain the counselor through a storytelling today. I asked her, how old are you? She said, I'm so and so. Do you have a kid? Do you have children? She said, no, I'm yet to get married. So I advised her, get married fast. I said, it is just an example that when a mother delivers a child, baby begins to cry as soon as the baby arrives. And despite of the agony and the pain mother had gone through, she begins to smile. There's a sweet smile on her face, despite of pain, hearing the sound of those cries of the baby. She was happy. If baby was not crying, then the doctors and nurses would run frantically all around, till the baby upside down and tap it on the back. So baby begins to breathe, heart is stimulated. Even then the baby does not cry. Mommy has to cry. The whole family will be disappointed. What does this show? Is your soul inside you or outside? Is there within me ever since my birth, and it will continue to be. Have you ever even once said thank you? You say thanks to the doctors, thanks to someone who gave you a toilet paper. For lousy things you say thanks. But the one who gives you life, you are silent. You don't even recognize that such a divine entity has imprisoned himself within your heart, and you can't even say thanks. And that entity is nowhere else but only in your heart. Prove me wrong. So that's why meditation on the heart. And if we keep collecting the garbage, emotional garbage, and keep throwing it on the heart, it's like throwing the garbage into Hindu temples, and you see what happens, there will be riots. Or throw some rubbish things in a mosque, there will be riots. But we go on happily collecting garbage in our heart and we sleep peacefully. How in the world that Lord within you is going to give you positive signals? You want to have cosmic consciousness, but your individual consciousness is so much suffering. If you want to become one with the divine, by individual consciousness, which is at top in the ocean, has to jump into the cosmic consciousness, ocean of consciousness, and become one. Otherwise, we remain as a little island, separated from the rest of the cosmic world. Purpose of yoga is only this merging of this little drop in the ocean. And that's that. Afterward, no drop is left behind to say, I have become the ocean. So if any guru comes to you and say, I am the ocean, run away, they will drown you. I'm telling you, but there are many. There are gurus or yogis who has, I say they have become yogis, business people. You sit in the front line, 1,000 pounds. Last, 60 pounds. And they'll feel proud, oh, I gave 1,000 pounds and I sat nearby and I took a selfie with Kennedy. This is all whitewashing.